Well, hello.
I'm not an expert on probably anything in this field of auto mechanics and body work. This alternator here, my horn's not working. Can you tell where it was probably leaking from? I don't know if I like this one. All right, to be a little bit more clear about the whole relay mapping. Well, I'm glad I decided to check my work. Take one apart, see how it looks inside. Kind of the anatomy of a lifter. Bouncy, bouncy, bouncy. Less than in metering rods. I was such a dork. Yeah, I missed something.
I'd say that's a success.
Welcome to Stage 0 Garage, and we're back in the storage unit to finally get back into getting this prepped up for the Hot Rod Power Tour. All right, then I also have this alternator here, which is going to go back in. I was having some charging issues, and so I thought, I wasn't sure if maybe it was the alternator. I just grabbed the one that was on the other truck and put it on. And I like this one because it's got the dual pulleys, so a little bit more protection. And I have a couple of actual decent battery cables with not so beat up terminals and not made out of speaker wire. And then I've got the cruise control and horns. My horn's not working, and I want to get that working. I don't know if that's on my list. Is that on my list? Horn. So we're gonna do change the alternator. I do have another thermostat housing. As you can see, this one is right there. You can see got a little bit of a drip coming. Why? Because it's all corroded in there, so I have a nice clean one. I'm going to do the ground strap first. A little water there. That's from the little hole that you drill in the bottom of your stack exhaust to keep the water from building up and rusting through. Going to change these out. Okay, I got this one in. Positive cable, I spliced that into this plug here, and then negative is going over here, and next is the alternator. Again, don't think you really need to see me do this. It's going to be loosening that, taking that belt off. You got to kind of run it through the fan here, loosening this or taking it off, and then putting this one on, plugging everything back in. Alternator's on. I got this is nice because I have two belts and they're new belts, and I got a new belt here. Day 2, working on the truck, getting ready for the power tour. So last night, the last thing I was doing was prepping that for the new housing. It was leaking. This one is the one that was on it. Can you tell where it was probably leaking from? It's a nice little ridge there. And I thought maybe it was like original because it's pretty beefy, but no, it says China. But I got one from the O'Reilly, and I had to sand that down because the paint was really thick and there wasn't really much of it, wasn't really even going to set in there all that well. Look how scratched up that is. I don't know if I like this one. We'll see how it works. Someone's telling me if I'm doing this wrong, putting too much on, not enough. I don't need it all. You know, it's not steam real. What is the? Next is the horns. So I have dual horns here. These are actually from a Volvo XC70. Here's the harness for it. And I never had horns for this, working horns. I hooked up 2 horns, and with the relay I have, that wasn't going to work. And because on this one, your power comes in and that goes to the horn when it's triggered, but the trigger is when you press the horn button that sends this to ground, because this is power, that's number 3, and this is ground to the horn button. And what happens is this just doesn't have enough power. So what I got instead was this 4-terminal one. So we have the power coming in, and then we just ground the horns, but then the trigger is separate. So the trigger will be, I'll be running positive to it, and then the ground will be the trigger, and then there will be enough, hopefully there'll be enough going to both of them. My trigger is now the ground coming from the horn button, and which would be like 86 or 85, doesn't matter. Okay, we'll say it's 85, and then 86 is the 12 volts that comes from the turning on the ignition, and then I have this 12 volts coming directly from the relay, and then also I just directly wired the ground on the same wiring. All right, to be a little bit more clear about the whole relay mapping, so this is the original 3-pin relay that was supplying power to the horn, and also part of the switching circuit. So when you press the horn button, that made contact with ground and then energize the coil in here and pull that switch down and sent the power to the horn. The problem I was having, this relay wasn't powerful enough to, I'm assuming that's the reason, it wasn't powerful enough to run 2 horns. It would just kind of click, and you know, the horn would make just a little click sound, but that was it. And then so what I did was I grabbed a 40 amp relay, and it has a separate circuit for the switching, and then a separate power lead that goes to the horns, as opposed to this one where they're shared. So when you press the horn button, that grounds it, and then that's connected to the ignition power, and then that energizes the switch, and relay makes the contact between the battery and the 2 horns, and it's again, it's a 40 amp, so it's got enough power to send it through and sound both horns. In reality, I really should have a fuse in here. I don't have one yet. Probably never will, because I just won't ever think about it. And how often do you really use a horn? So that is the difference between the two. I thought it would be a little bit clearer if I drew it out. So, and then here's my power tour map. So is where we're starting, up in Fond du Lac, and then heading down. We're going to avoid the big cities and the interstates as much as we can, or at least the big busy interstates. So we're gonna be coming down through Illinois, Champaign, Effingham, and then first stop is Bowling Green, Kentucky. And then we head down to Tennessee, and then back up to Louisville, Kentucky, Columbus, Indianapolis, and then pretty much the same route back home. We might change it as we're on the way out, but we don't have the actual map for the destination routes. They give us those in, I think, May, and they're generally back roads, stay off the interstates whenever possible. So, and then there was my journey from Aberdeen to pick up the and Tacoma is where I was staying, to pick up the maroon truck. Drove it through the Rockies in the winter, all the way down back to Wisconsin, 2,400 miles. Relay's all done. I got it hiding down there. Got it zip tied in place, and I'm gonna pull that stuff off. And yes, I'm keeping them in order so I can check them. Make sure they're not bent. Well, I'm glad I decided to check my work. So, you know, looking at these, you can see some, it's not circular wear pattern, so this is good. This not, also because I can feel that it was worn a little bit in the center. Same with this one. Circular, little oblong though. And this one, yeah, definitely this one with the little crosses there, the multiple witness marks, I guess you would call them. This one as well, this one as well, this one as well. Now, what I'm going to do is take, I don't know where they went. I do. I've got my box of lifters from that 360, and these look really good. There's no, they still have their silvery color. I don't see the brassy color like I do on these. And so I'm going to put these in, do a break-in, and then I can evaluate if we're going to use this for the Hot Rod Power Tour, or if I have to go to plan B or plan C, those being the Cougar or the Aspen. So that's where we're going to go with that. What I'm going to actually do next is I'm going to pull the plugs. I've got the bore scope. I'm going to just check those cylinder walls, or I'm going to pull the intake and get a better look at the cam before I make any other decisions. So getting a little bit further into the weeds than I wanted, but I don't want to end up down in Kentucky or Tennessee and have this thing crapping out on me. But yeah, these look definitely much better. There's no weird wear. And right, time to take off the intake. So time to make a mess with that again. Oh, you kind of missed it. Logan and I pulled the intake off. So I can go through and you're going to spin that and check to see how those cam lobes look. This is the first lobe. Well, I got the documented the cam lobes, went through that. I ran the bore scope into each cylinder, and now I'm going to go and clean all this up and get everything ready to put back together, because I didn't really see anything really out of whack. The cylinder walls weren't great. My hone job was probably not the greatest for an engine that was sitting for a while and had rust on it, so I'm going to not worry about that. I still see cross hatching. And before I get to putting the intake in, I want to go through my new lifters, and which is this row here, not this old worn out row here. Some which, you know, as you can see, have interesting wear patterns. And I noticed that some of these have like gunk inside, and I want to see if I need to. I'm going to take one apart. I took one of these older ones apart. This is one of the worn ones. This is kind of the anatomy of a lifter. And you've got the spring here that goes in there, and then you got this little cap. This little piece goes in there. I don't know what to call these pieces specifically. Come on. Stop being magnetic. Okay. And then this goes in there. That just always gets pushed down. But then there's these little clips that come out, and I'll take another one out and show you. But then once you push that in, then you put that clip in. This one went flying off into wherever when I took it off. So I'm going to take one apart, one of these apart, and see how it looks inside. Alright, so if you do decide to ever take one of these apart for any sort of reason, I don't know why you would. I did it because I was curious. I get the spring, goes in there. Bouncy, bouncy, bouncy. This goes on top there. Now, this is going to be the tricky part. I'm sure there's probably a tool that would work better that I don't have. Yeah, so make sure you take the oil out, or you spray out the oil. You'll have to soak these, but this thing would not compress. But now it goes down. And literally, I could not get it low enough. Like, it probably went about that far, but now I can get it all the way down because this was full of oil down there. So I feel a little bit more confident. I was hating myself for about 20 minutes trying to get that back in. But I wanted to see how these were built differently. There. So, again. And if you look over and you see that you are missing, or you have an extra spring, you're gonna have a fun time trying to re-extract that out of here. There we go. Sometimes you can catch that little notch with the pick and pull it out, but do be careful about that. I'm actually wondering how many people are sitting there wondering, why the heck are you even doing that? Well, it seems logical to me. So got all my lifters put back together. Now they're going to sit in oil for a few days. That's all the oil I had. I'll make sure they're all completely covered. Here, a lifter sitting in a glass of oil. And I have one of the other lifters, so I can actually open this one when I'm done and we can see how much makes it in. But if you push down and hold it, you can see these bubbles coming out. Let's turn this so we can see the bubbles better. Where are the bubbles at? Well, I saw bubbles, you saw bubbles. I'm not seeing them anymore. So I'm trying to base it on, oh, there's a little bit there. So I'm trying to base it on like the compression of the inside of the lifter, and there's still quite a bit. Like I said, if I look at this one here, there's none, because that's got enough oil inside it. So I imagine, I mean, yeah, you get the lifters from the store, there's no oil in them, and you put them in and that's fine, but I want to see if it's possible to, you know, get them filled up with as much oil as possible. So I did some reading and a little bit of research. Some people prime these, they'll actually get a little oil hand pump and they'll fill that up with oil. A lot of guys are saying that's not necessary. These will probably fill up really quickly once I start running the engine. But if I have a little bit of oil in there, it just makes it better than being absolutely dry. See how this lifter fared for getting oil in it. I'd say it's got a bit more in it. I think there was just a little bit on the very bottom. Right now it's made it up to about where that ridge is, I'm guessing. It goes the other way. All right, so the driver's side notch is on the left, or front of the engine, and all the little holes that are oilers, they're facing down so that they can lubricate this. I got my lights I got my LED lights. You get 6 of them and 2 plugs. And I think it was like $40 some. I got the brighter LEDs. They also come with little connectors, so you can connect these directly, or you can do like the line, and that'll connect them that way. So you can, you know, just kind of turn them all off and on. And then I always keep a couple separate, so I can run them inside the area I'm working on, so that I can see much better. It's better than that thing. That thing's just too bulky, too bright, too direct. And as far as working on today, going to go through and check these tabs, make sure that they're facing the right way, because you know they've got these little edges on them. If there's more rounded on this end, then it should be on the outside. So I'm going to go through those, and then maybe if there's some sort of adjustments, if one's longer, maybe it'd be better if I flip them so that there's not as much play. And all right, well, I only changed, I think I just changed a couple of them, just the end ones, and everything else looked pretty much fine. Now I'm going to torque it up to 25 foot-pounds and start from the middle and just work your way out. I need a extension. Did I ever tell you that when I first built this truck, and I was trying to figure out why it didn't seem to have much power, and so I started pulling plugs, spark plugs, to see if, you know, maybe it wasn't firing. Nothing on this bank was firing, and so I pulled the oil cap, and I could literally see the shaft just kind of like bouncing around, not bouncing like it was totally free, but these were either not torqued down enough or just not even tightened. And so I missed a step, and suddenly I went from having 4 cylinders to, well, maybe 8, but definitely definitely thought I screwed up my engine. Kind of had that a few times, but this truck has been pretty resilient. And I don't like that. Yeah. Okay. I've seen some guys that don't use a torque wrench on them, so I'm sure I'll be fine. And next, well, they don't have a chisel. I don't have a chisel to knock these out, so I'll have to get that later. But what I'm going to probably do in the meantime is work on these valve covers. You know, these looks like they've been torqued a bit much, so I'm going to try to flatten these out a little bit. So I got my, they spent a little too much time in my damp garage, I guess. Anyway, so I'm going to use the hammer and dolly to try to get them just a little bit better. They don't have to be perfect. All right, now for this one, definitely got some areas in this one that need a little more work. I always actually have a little bit more oil leakage kind of on this end, so hopefully I can get that figured out. know if you can see. Looks better. Again, now they just look a little bit more beat up too, but day whatever, I don't know, 6, 7, 8. All right, tonight I painted this up. I happen to have, I just painted it with what I have. You saw it was pretty nasty. It's supposed to be blue, but it's going back in here, so I don't really care. In fact, I kind of like the black. And maybe I'll get some red and like highlight the firing order, and you know, to kind of go with the black with red accents. Wouldn't that be cool? What's the date on this thing? Never checked. 3/14/79. So this was actually made just before, because this was made in April. So the black was made in January of 78. First in, last out, I guess. And then, so what I'm going to do now is get the tabs, clean the surface, make sure I've got everything all prepped as far as gasket wise, because Logan's going to help me in the morning get intake on. He's going to swing by on his way in before he goes to work. First off, I'm going to break off these tabs. Came off a lot harder than I thought. Don't do this with a crappy chisel. Rule number 1. Geez, look at that already. Nice. Alright, well, I'm gonna clean this up, clean these up, and then just get my surface all nice and prepped. So far away. Smear this up a little bit. Now I'm doing basically the kind of the typical use of RTV. Now the gasket maker says don't use any except for right there. I put some under there, and then put some in there, and then just this just to kind of keep the gasket in place. And a lot of guys say put some around the water jackets so that doesn't leak in. And they have these little retainers that are supposed to be able to like go in here. Oh, come on. Okay. That needs to go in there. Oh my gosh, it's so far away, and I'm not climbing on the edge of the seat. I don't like that. Nathan. I'll actually climb in. So.
Oh, dude, you can get way more up in there.
Oh, I've got some down on the bottom. I got some on this thing when I put it on, and then I got some when I put the gasket on. So, but some guys they just barely smear.
Do some guys just not use a cork either and just use RTV?
Yeah, but that'll be. Just the gasket pushes it a little, and I decided to use these retainers.
Are you filming?
Yeah,
oh,
it's right up there.
Oh,
Well, hello.
Alright, I'm in my spot.
I'm glad you can still fit in there.
I know, me too.
Are you ready?
For being as old as I am.
So I just woke up. You're gonna make me lift the fucking
You want to come in
thing.
here?
No.
Should we do it? We could do both
I don't wanna
outside.
bend my legs that much this morning either.
Would it be easier if maybe we brought it closer? And
No,
then,
that's fine. But you're gonna have to help me.
yeah, I'm. Watch.
Alright, so we're gonna have to transfer our hands to the top.
Okay, I got it.
You got it.
Yep. And I will guide back here.
Well, bracket.
Good. And I see the retainer.
Do you have your bolts? Where are they?
They're in the.
Oh, stay there.
They're in the box.
Okay.
No, in the box on the floor.
Oh.
You sure you don't want me to get out?
Go on underneath the carburetor?
No.
Well.
Way on the end there, in the pneumatic.
Okay.
Central pneumatic.
Oh.
Oh, let's do. Oh, that's why that's out of there. Because the bolt's probably impossible to get to. So if you do diagonal ones. Oh my. Oh, I could probably take this up. Then it means you're lined up. That feels snug. You want to leave it to one side. feel like I want to paint this bracket, but let's put that in there to keep it from moving. So I do want to put some sealant on those threads. I see that helps keep the oil from working its way up. Alright, I accidentally put that in. I shouldn't have. Oh, and I didn't bring an extension in here with me. That's a bit of a tight fit. Oh, for crying out loud. I have to get a different socket to torque this one down. It's a little bit tight in there and I can't get the socket in. And this gasket's in nice and tight. This one's not moving. Alright, we're all torqued down, and put this bad boy back in again. See if I can reach the distributor cap. The distributor. Okay, looking at my distributor cap. This is one. One is 1, 2, 3, whatever you call those leads. Stay. I grabbed the other one. This is a nice actual Mopar one. This came off the maroon one, but this one is not new. That one is new. So if I take this one and one, it's the same one. If I go ahead and put that on according to there, that's one. Okay, so that's set. It might not be 100%. I'll line that up when, heck, I'll line it up now. I'll make sure it's so we are just a little bit, actually I think I'm gonna line it up to 10 right away, and then I will lock that down, so then I'll know I'll be at least close enough to the proper timing. It should be 10 degrees. I think I used to have it at 12, but we'll start at 10. I actually do have the tool for this, but I'm not going to get out of here and go get it. This not too tight. I do want to be able to move it. Yeah, I think that's good. I could probably, oh, it's the only up. It's not going any further because it butts up against the firewall. I bet I can adjust a tiny bit tighter. There we go. Pretty good. Yeah. All right. So we want 10. Or we want it at pointing at 1. So let's get this on. I should have brought a marker. I do have something that can work. Okay. Let's make sure that's so. Put a little bit of oil there. I think that's good. All right. So that's at 10. This is on pretty good. It's not moving, so let's start reconnecting. I don't even remember where half this stuff goes. Probably go down there somewhere. I don't know what happened there with my camera. Anyway, I'll recap. I don't know if it made it through. I'll have to see later. Got that all wired up, taped up the new coil lines for the HEI a little bit better. I'm just gonna tuck these under here and hide them better. Okay, apparently not. This is my extra vacuum line for the vacuum gauge that I have stuffed on here. So I'm gonna put the, this thing is down here, probably put it down here when the valve cover was off and I can't get it back up. I'm not gonna force it. So I'm gonna take the valve cover back off, get that up there. Well, that was easy enough to get it around there once I got the valve cover off. And now I just see that this mounting has to go where these bolts are, which is fine. It'll be fine if I take those off, I'm sure. Now you can see how well this paint is holding on. Ow. Okay, a little lesson in metering rods. So this is the 6052. You probably can't see, but it's like stamped on the side there. The next size leaner that they have is the 1944, which is a 6254, and that correlates with some size in inches. You can look it up. So this would actually be a little bit thicker, and it's really hard to tell. This one here is the 6456. So 6456 here, and 6052. So you can, I don't know if you can really see, but these are thicker, so you probably see less of a step between these two, between the lean or the idle and the acceleration circuit. So if you even put this one, see if I can show that one in there, get all three of them. So we're going to put the 6254. Just shove those in there for safety. I mean, I'll probably, I don't know, we'll run it for a while with with just the 6254s. Come on, just go in there. There we go. And see how that works before I go in and try anything else. Funny story, on my thermoquad, I didn't know anything about metering rods, and there were actually extras in there. I actually had them mixed up. I had a mix and match set. I had two different sizes. I was such a dork. So we'll just you in the way. You are in the way. I bet you're just a tiny little clip too. Ah, these little tiny C-clips. I know I'm gonna lose one. Well, alright, let's put this one in first. So it just goes in there. And then here's the little spring. So you can get different springs too, different they have different spring rates, and that's more for like racing. So make sure that goes into the little hole there. I feel like that should not be tight. Why is that tight? Okay. Yeah, it was, I pushed it in too far, so it was jammed up against the wall. So then you just close this thing up. Tighten it up. No. Alrighty. Okay. Why are they so small? Wait a minute. They can just... Do I have a different color one? That one looked clear. All right. I guess I see a little bit of green left on that, but you can see where I was a little confused because that's kind of green and this one is not. Yeah, well, hopefully they didn't put the wrong one in. They feel about right, but I don't know if I'd be able to tell anyway. Alright, let's hook this back up. You can watch me fight with this for the next several minutes, hopefully not. That went a whole lot easier than I expected. So I did order the adapter piece that was supposed to go on here, but it didn't quite seem to work. So this is what I came up with, and it seems to be fine. Everything hooks up just fine, so whatever works, right? Actually, the nice thing, I can actually adjust this by bending this a little bit. If I need to adjust the kickdown just a tiny bit, I've been able to just bend the bend this threaded rod just enough to get what I wanted. There we go. Why is it? That goes up to there. That's oh, interesting. I don't like how that touches that, because this is a different thermostat. And the other one was a little bit higher. Now this is right in on that, so I'm gonna have to find a different spot. Maybe I will have to use the other spring. I have to redo all of that because this is not hooked up. Yeah, I missed something. When I tied this up, I forgot that this actually has to be tied in with the positive. This actually supplies the battery power. I just watched my HEI video because I have the HEI conversion, the GM HEI conversion, and just watched my video to make sure I had everything wired up, and sure enough, this gets wired into the to the positive and provides the battery power. So that would be why I don't have spark.
It's only 7 volts. I feel like
that should be more.
that's 12 volts. Okay. Was it just ground? Let's find out. That was a success. Okay. That's actually good to know though, because that loosened up. So that's not what I would consider a very good ground connection. I'm going to wrap this all back up and start it up again. I'd say that's a success. I think that'll be enough. That's cool. I'm not going to run it any more than that. I think just a minute or so like that is good. I'm going to go through and check for any leaks, and tomorrow will be the we'll do the break-in. All right, break-in time. Just remember that this engine has been running. Essentially, all I did was change out the lifters. And those were already used lifters. They were on an engine that hadn't been, I don't think it had very many miles on it. If you remember, the bottoms looked like absolutely unworn. So just doing the break-in so that these lifters can get acclimated to this camshaft. And that's that. Okay, now the next step is to actually take the truck out and drive it for, I'm gonna take a loop in the area, keep it close, drive it for a couple hours, maybe get 100 and some miles on it if I can, full tank of gas, and run that out and see how it does. And then I'll decide whether or not this is going to be what we're gonna take. That'll be on the next video, and the results of that. Just to kind of recap what we did here. We checked the lifters and realized that, yeah, those original ones were sketchy, so I put the new ones in, broke them in. Some of the other things that we did take care of was to change out the alternator, those battery terminals, switched out the metering rods, and did not get the cruise control in. Did the horn. Fuses on the list. Don't know if we'll get to it though. Added that body to ground, and checked some of the other grounds. I still have that weird lighting issue. I'm wondering if it's the bright or the headlight dimmer switch. Sometimes that has caused issues for me before. Yeah, the HEI lines. I cut those and shortened them, and tightened up that ground, which caused it not to start. What's next? The gas tank. So I do have, in the meantime, I did pull the other gas tank out. It's actually right there, and I had a leak in it, and I'm going to show you that I did fix the leak, and I did it properly, and I've got a video coming on that, because next I'm going to put that tank in here, pull that one out, that tank out because it's got a little leak, and see if I can fix that one as well. So I'll have both of those on their own video, because that's kind of cool that I was able to fix that. And then to start going back down the list. So and I'm not happy with the O'Reilly's thermostat housing. I'm gonna pull that one. I could probably RTV it and it'd be fine, but I think that surface, it's not a good surface. You saw that where I had to sand all that paint off, and it was all scratched. So I just got these little tiny leaks. I do have some new hoses as well, but I have this better housing, and so I'm gonna put this on, and plus it'll raise that coolant hose up a little higher and make some more clearance for those springs. I would not recommend getting that O'Reilly's housing. This one I got from Summit. I'm gonna start ordering stuff from Summit again. This truck is built on a lot of stuff out of Summit. And then transmission linkage. If you saw me during the driving video, you might have noticed me have that reverse. It's a little sloppy. It used to be not very good going into first. I adjusted it so it went into first good. There's some bushings down there, and the linkages can probably just be adjusted a little bit better. Get the cruise control on. So it looks good, and this stuff will be on for the next video. Hopefully I only have one more to go for the prep, the power tour. Exciting though, I got my engine back. So I've got the valve covers. I'm painting those special color. These were black too. Whoops, I'm getting them all dirty. And so we're going to start seeing some videos on the build for the 360 that I got to replace that 318 that blew up when the push rod went through the camshaft, the one that somebody nicely left in the valley. So, just it's nice. I've got more Mopar stuff coming. I know the Mini Cooper stuff isn't really all. I had a couple videos on that. Didn't do very well. Even lost a subscriber, I think, off of that one probably. But if I'm doing something, I'm learning as I go. and I might as well post it so that somebody else can see how it's done, how I did it. And, you know, I suggest watch other videos and, you know, do some comparison, and it helps you feel a little bit more confident about what you're doing. That's how I do it. I'll watch multiple videos and I'll say, okay, they're all doing the same thing, and this is how it worked. This is the troubles they had. So this is how I'm going to do it. But yeah, I'm learning as I go. Almost everything I've done here is usually it's for the first time. So you're learning as I'm learning. I'm not an expert on probably anything in this field of auto mechanics and body work and all this other stuff. It's everything I'm figuring out as I go and just taking my time and trying to do it right. So, and I'm doing the videos because I enjoy having a record of what I've done, and if it's helpful for somebody, cool. Not doing this for the subs and maybe someday make it. I'm not going to be a YouTube star. It's never going to happen. So, but and on that note, we'll see you on the next video. Not sure which one that'll be. So catch me next time.